Hi, I'm Dr. Wilson. I'm a PhD molecular biologist, and welcome to my series on debunking the Disinformation Dozen. The Disinformation Dozen is a group of 12 individuals identified by the Center for Countering Digital Hate as being responsible for 65% of all misinformation surrounding vaccines on the internet. And in this series, I'm going to show you why they deserve the title of Disinformation Dozen. This is the 6th installment of this series where I'll be debunking Kevin Jenkins. Kevin Jenkins is an anti-vaccine activist who has a pretty big social media presence and has made public appearances with people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., where he has said things like vaccines are a conspiracy to wipe out the black community. He also formed a company in 2020 to help people travel the world without having to deal with any masking, quarantine, or other COVID restrictions. Yeah, none of that's very good. So let's get into it. Now, there won't be much science in this video because I couldn't find many actual science claims from Kevin Jenkins that aren't just repeats of what other people in the Disinformation Dozen have said. But in this video, I'm going to be looking at some of the ideologies that people like Kevin Jenkins push onto their followers. Ideologies that definitely don't jive with what science says.
All of the people that are truth seekers now are being told that they're liars because they're seeking the truth and seeking for their freedom.
I said this last week with Aaron Elizabeth, and I'll say it again. These people are not honestly seeking the truth. That's why they get called things like dishonest and liars. Because they are asking questions but then not honestly trying to find the answer. Answers which, by the way, exist because science asked the same questions and found the answers. Also, speaking of Aaron Elizabeth, after I made my video, she got deplatformed from Facebook and Instagram. She was not too happy with me on Twitter. All I can say is, you did it to yourself, Aaron. Sorry.
As a Black American male, I'm very used to that. You know, I understand what it means to be censored. I understand what it means to be controlled by a corporation. I understand what it means to be redlined. I understand what it means to be basically controlled by the government at any time in my life.
Look, I get it. I get how the history of how medicine has treated Black people in the US does not exactly instill confidence in us today. Especially as someone who used to be a conspiracy theorist, I get it. Yes, there is a long history of medicine intentionally mistreating Black people, and it's not just limited to the Tuskegee experiments. Taking the time to acknowledge these ugly parts of history and learn about them is definitely a step forward. But if the lesson is that we should disregard all of modern medicine, then you're actually taking 3 steps back. Right now, the average person has access to way more information than ever. And yes, I know that it can be difficult to navigate all this information, and it can be difficult to understand scientific jargon, but the resources are there for you to understand it at a level that is accessible to you. That's part of what I'm trying to do. It doesn't take an expert to gain a basic understanding of these scientific concepts. And if you have that understanding, you can be much better equipped to recognize events that might be a modern-day Tuskegee experiments and prevent them. It's lazy and dishonest to call everything a modern-day Tuskegee experiment. You have to look at the facts. And the facts right now say that COVID is disproportionately destroying racial and ethnic minority communities. Not because racial and ethnic minorities are innately biologically different from other groups of people. No, it all has to do with systemic inequality and generally poor access to quality healthcare. This is the kind of problem that Kevin Jenkins should be advocating for. He should be advocating for solutions to the pandemic so that it doesn't continue to disproportionately destroy the communities that he thinks that he's protecting. And calling the COVID vaccine a tool to destroy the Black community is only going to make that problem worse, not better.
Me being the super spreader of truth, me being anti anything that's anti-human, anti-human rights, anti-body autonomy, the mere fact that my body belongs to me and my community.
This is something I hear constantly from people who don't want to get the COVID vaccine. It's their body autonomy. But when it comes to public health, and specifically this problem of infectious disease, it's not just your body. We are a community. We interact with each other. And in those interactions, there are chances to pass infectious diseases off to one another. Vaccines are not 100% effective, and some people can't be vaccinated, or some people have conditions that make vaccines less effective in them. When you make a choice for your own body to not protect yourself against an infectious disease, and then you become a carrier for that infectious disease, you are taking choices away from everybody you come into contact with. So as a direct consequence of you choosing to not protect yourself against this infectious virus, you are potentially exposing others to that virus. And those people may end up suffering greatly from that virus or even dying. I don't think they would choose either of those things. You're making that choice for them. That's why this body autonomy thing doesn't work. And let's not forget that if there are enough people who remain unvaccinated and this virus has a large enough pool of hosts to spread between and continue evolving, you could also be contributing to the next deadly strain of SARS-CoV-2. A strain that, for all we know, may be able to bypass the immunity granted to us by the current vaccines. That would be your choice affecting everybody else.
You're sending your kids to these, I call them the concentration camps of the 21st century. They're now masking our kids. They're now telling us our kids are the problem. And you all are trying to figure out what to do. They're attacking your children.
Is he calling schools concentration camps? I think people who actually went to concentration camps would not call schools concentration camps. Wow.
I have some friends that are taking the vaccine. God bless them. I wish you the best of luck. All of you that are taking it, do me a favor. Please call me because I want your names. Because you are the same people that will turn us over and put us back as slaves, put us back on a concentration camp.
Well, like I said, there's not a ton of science that I can really address in this video. I can only show you what he says, and that speaks for itself as to why he is called one of the Disinformation Dozen. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this week. I do hope you enjoyed that one, even though it was kind of light on science. As always, thanks for watching, and the few links that I did use in this video are referenced in the description below so that you can check them out for yourself and see the data that I'm talking about. And if you did enjoy this, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can join me next week, where I'll be debunking the griftiest of all grifters, Ty and Charlene Bollinger. See you then.